prime this car, and what Jeff's doing, he's sanding all this down in here. Is that right?
Yeah, trying to get any excess paint that'll chip or flake. It just get a good smooth transition.
Yeah. This is actually inside the car. It doesn't really need to be stripped down unless you just have to necessarily strip it. But as you notice, we've taken the trunk off. We've already done all the body work necessary. We've also taken the front end off, all the front end parts. And we ran into a problem right here. Now, I don't know what the owner wants to do. If he wants to go ahead and cut that out and fix it like we did the last rust, which will be fine to do with that, or he wants to replace that. These aftermarket inner fender wells do not fit correctly. They're very hard to line up. They don't work. We had this soda blasted, and the reason we did is if you strip that by hand, it's very hard to get all the paint out of all these grooves. So we actually had that soda blasted, not sand blasted. If you notice, soda blasting will leave the factory etching still on it. I don't recommend soda blasting the whole car because that stuff gets in everywhere inside it and you can never get it out. So we're getting ready. We're going to prime this thing today. Put it in primer.
Heck yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Is it going to be done today, ready for primer? So Jeff's cleaning out the gutter rails, right?
Yeah.
That's an important job on these old classics.
Because
got a lot of sanding to do there. You're going to use your wire wheel to get rid of that rust?
No, I'm going to do 80 grit.
80 grit and then maybe the wire wheel to follow up with?
Yeah, because with $10,000 worth of paint and body, start having cancer along the.
But we got to put that new seam sealer in here, right?
Yeah.
Let me get one of those out of there and I'll show people. This is factory seam sealer right here. What we did is we fixed all our rust, and as you can see, it's done. Just getting finalizing everything up. We're going to get it in the paint booth, and we're going to prime this thing. Then we're going to take the dash out. We're going to fix the minor rust that's in the floor. And while it's in primer, we're going to do all that because we want the car to sit for about a week or two. That way, the primer, it gets good and solid on there, and it doesn't have no shrink back. So when we get ready to block it out and paint it, it's all going to look nice. Okay, as you see, we got the car ready for primer. We got our body work, all our rust fixed in the rear end of the car. We got it taped off, we got it de-egged down. The next step is primer. Before we prime the car though, if you noticed, Jeff had cleaned out these gutter rails. And he got all the seam sealer, factory seam sealer out. What we got to do is we got to put the factory seam sealer back in it. This is the best kind that I found. It dries very quick and it's very reliable. It doesn't shrink back, it doesn't crack. So we got to go all the way around the car and fill that in. Once I get some in there, we got some lacquer thinner in here. We got us a nice white ball, and I got a little stick that I just cut that will actually fit down in the groove right here. That way I'll be able to mold that in there, so when you look down it's going to be a nice professional finish. Now, to prime that stuff, you can go ahead and prime it right away, because it will actually dry underneath the primer. We're going to get everything in primer, and I think this car is going to be ready for block sanding and paint. The next step we're going to do, we're going to remove the dash out of here, and we're going to restore the steering wheel back to original. We're going to fix all the little cracks. You know, these steering wheels, they get a lot of cracks. If there's one right there, I don't want to take the plastic off. And up in here. So we're going to restore that steering wheel brand new, take the dash out, paint everything red, and then we'll block it out. So check us out on Southwest Rod and Custom if you want to see more detailed pictures of this Galaxie being restored. And check back later for future videos of it. Thanks a lot.
So much you thought your little heart was gonna break in two. I didn't think so. You ever try with all your heart and soul to get your lover back to you? Go on, so you ever pray with all your heart and soul just thing.